Monsters. Uppal playing a deck very similar to the one that I wrote about and Ketter top 8 it with last week. I think just a few cosmetic changes. I think he cut Gruul Charm in order to play another Ultimate Price and Golgari Charm. I think that's it.
That feels like an upgrade.
Look, Gruul Charm has its purposes, man. You need a little help against mono blue. It's not splashy. I'm not even sure if it's particularly good, but it gets the job done.
I would just want to have a lot of Ultimate Prices in this list.
That's understandable.
That feels like the strongest incentive to go down this road. Ultimate Price is very good against green-red monsters. It kills Master of Waves, which is one of the better cards against you. I would not want to leave home without at least 3 copies of this in my 75.
As far as this Mono Black Devotion deck list here from Simon, nothing crazy going on here. He's starting a couple Lifebane Zombie. He's only got 2. He's got 3 Pack Rats, 4th one in the sideboard, additional copy of Lifebane Zombie in the sideboard. So you see that change starting to take place. Again, not too surprised to see Joe Bernal make the drastic change of just 4 of this and cut the Pack Rats, because that's just kind of what he's known to do. But it's starting to look like people are starting to move Lifebane Zombie slowly but surely into main decks.
There's no way you can look at the metagame over the last couple of weeks and feel like you can show up with your Black Devotion list from 2 months ago.
Yeah.
The metagame's too different at this point.
Justin Uppal on your left, he is what we like to call the young master, excuse me, perhaps the future of American Magic, as the old joke goes. Sitting in at a cool 16 years of age with multiple Open Series top 8s. Plays a lot of Magic Online.
Yes.
He is Jay Uppal of Magic Online. He's going to take a mulligan here. Very skilled for his age. And he is starting off this tournament 3-0 so far. So we'll see if he's able to win game number 3 here between him and Cedric Simon. Should be fun to watch.
So what's your take on this matchup? I'm sure you're fairly experienced playing it.
So close. I know that when I play Magic Online, I keep notes in a spreadsheet of my matches, what I've played against, and things of that nature, just for maybe a more numbers approach. So I'm trying to be unbiased about my results. Mono Black is as close as I've gotten to even as it comes. Sometimes I've been completely destroyed. Other times I've completely destroyed them, and I've also played some close ones that have been drawn out in top decks. So I feel like it's been around 50-50. The games go back and forth and they hinge on a lot of different things.
I imagine Reaper of the Wilds is pretty good against them. They don't have, Doomblade doesn't kill, Ultimate Price doesn't kill it. You can play it with Hexproof mana up, potentially to cover it against Hero's Downfall. That feels like a threat if the game goes long enough that can steal games you would otherwise be losing.
It certainly can. One of the problems I've had with Reaper of the Wilds over time is that, a lot of the times when I first started playing against Mono Black, my plan was, all right, I'm going to play this when I have 6 mana, and then I'll have 2 for Hexproof, and they can't kill it, and then I'm going to win. The problem with that plan, and this happens probably a lot when you play against Mono Black, for you guys at home, is that when you sandbag a threat, they draw a discard spell, you want to jump off a bridge. Mm-hmm. And that happens a lot, especially when they're boarding into Lifebane Zombie. They're actually boarding into some number of Thoughtseizes, which is likely 4, some number of Lifebane Zombies, that number varies between 2 and 4, and even though Reaper of the Wilds can't be taken via Duress, Duress is certainly a good card to actually board in against you because you have Dreadbore, because you have Planeswalkers, things of that nature. So it's actually really difficult to sandbag a threat, and as a result, Reaper of the Wilds, a lot of times you just say, all right, play it, hope they don't have the appropriate answer right now, and then I'll get to untap with Hexproof and make that play.
Yeah. Reaper of the Wild's one of those weird, it's both a black creature and a gold creature, so a lot of their conventional removal doesn't line up against it.
And of course, Bioblight's not going to get the job done, and if things are going appropriately, Devour Flesh probably won't get it done either. But, they do have 4 Heroes Downfalls, as Simon's going to start off with a Temple of Deceit and pass the turn back. So they do have plenty of answers, as Uppal draws a Pulachronos for the turn, and we'll see what he wants to start off with. The very methodical youngster. Going to play a Stomping Ground on tap. There's your Elvish Mystic. He's going to go to 18 and pass it back. So a little bit of acceleration here.
It appears Justin does have Domri in his hand, so he can get one of the explosive green-red starts of the format, which is a second turn Domri.
Let's see what Simon has here. It looks like maybe a Bileblight to take care of the Mystic. Really good play there. Do not want to leave the mana acceleration out there. And Bileblight doesn't have a ton of targets in the deck, but Elvish Mystic is certainly one of them, and it's a very good target.
Yeah, actually, somewhat surprising to see Bioblight's still in the deck in game 3 here. As you mentioned, there's just not a lot of targets in Jund Monsters for that removal spell, but Elvish Mystic is as good as it gets there.
Down to 16 goes Uppal via Blood Crypt. Here's the Scavenging Ooze before passing the turn back. And I believe if I caught Simon's hand correctly, he does have a Lifebane Zombie in his hand. So that might be a time for a little 2-for-1 from the 3-1. And it is. So there's the grip. You see an Ultimate Price of Stormbreath Dragon, a Domri, and Pulachronos. The Hydra's going to go bye-bye. A decent hand.
Yeah, the problem is the Stormbreath Dragon is likely not to matter for very long, not for a while here, and Justin needs to be the beatdown deck, so having a removal spell in his hand isn't necessarily great. Drawing a third land for Domri, of course, very valuable. Can help him recoup these mulligans and discard spells.
Uppal offers up the trade with Scavenging Ooze. Simon declines. So he's going to take 2. He's going to go down to 14. And it looks like Justin's going to drop the old Domri down here. So, of course, that's going to have to tick up. I don't think we're going to see a fight. I suppose I could be wrong. But it'll go up to 4. There's a miss and pass the turn back.
And don't ignore these Ravnica dual lands that Justin's playing untapped here. That's the third one. With Grey Merchant of Asphodel, the mono black deck can actually go into this beat down and burn you out mode, and those 6 points of damage definitely matter.
It's a very, very big deal. You know, part of the ability to splash is the fact that you have to obviously play some Ravnica dual lands, as you mentioned. See, Domri's going to miss this turn. Looks like we're going to see the ultimate price here from Uppal take care of the Desecration Demon. Scavenging Ooze is going to go active. It's going to gain Uppal a life, going to go up to 15. And then attack here for 3, going to put Simon down to 15. As I think that's going to complete it for the youngster's turn, pass it back to Simon.
Really interested to see if Cedric has a removal spell for the Scavenging Ooze, because there's a lot of creatures in the graveyard at this point.
Yeah. It looks like his hand right now is just 2 lands and the Grey Merchant. So I think the answer to your question might be no, as here's a drain for 4 from Grey Merchant. Simon's going to go up to 19, Uppal's going to go down to 11. But Scavenging Ooze could start to run rampant on this battlefield. Let's see what Uppal finds this time.
He's missed off of 2 Domri hits and has not made a 4th land drop, so it probably means additional copies of Domri or removal spells potentially.
Also, lands could obviously be hiding out on top of there, as Uppal's going to up his Scavenging Ooze, turn into a 4/4, gain a little bit of life. That is an untapped land. It's going to go down to 10. There's a Domri. Here's a fight. And there goes Lifebane Zombie. And now we might see the Ooze play a little bit of defense.
Try to protect his Domri for 1 return. Remember, Justin has Stormbreath Dragon in hand, so.
There's a Thoughtseize. Not anymore, he doesn't. Let's play off the top of the deck, shall we?
Yep. But Justin's starting with a pretty big edge in the top decking war here with Domri and a large Scavenging Ooze.
He misses with Domri yet again. What's this spell going to be? Looks like it's a spell. Simon again, just a land in his hand. Here comes Uppal. He says, all right, let's remove some cards here. Turn my Ooze into a 6/6, get myself 2 life back. It looks like Uppal has a Sylvan Grid. That's a good defender. So pass it back. Simon draws a card. What's he find? He's been drawing a lot of lands. He found a nice one in Desecration Demon. Now this is interesting because there is, I believe, another creature in the graveyard for Uppal, that's Stormbreath Dragon. So that means we could actually see Scavenging Ooze turn into a 7/7. Uppal would have to lose his Domri to do so, but I think that exchange is worth it.
Yeah, you have to feel like you're a pretty big edge here. You know, there is the risk that Cedric has some sort of removal spell in his hand here at instant speed, but the evidence doesn't really support that. That Ooze has been playing for a long time now, so.
Uppal says up on the Domri. Declines to make his Scavenging Ooze a little bit bigger and fight. He's going to take 2. He's going to go down to 10. Here comes the Reaper. And he's able to leave Hexproof open. And then he passes the turn back, I think with the intentions of sacrificing Sylvan Courier to this turn of Desecration Demon. We'll see, as it looks like a Pithing Needle has been drawn. So that's going to come down. What is he going to name here? That's really interesting.
I would assume it's Domri.
And he does go with Domri, you're correct. So we do have confirmation on that. And now Caryatid's going to get sacrificed, which is going to allow 2 things here. Number 1, of course, is the Scry Trigger for Reaper of the Wilds, which Uppal immediately keeps on top. But that's even a little more fuel, for the Scavenging Ooze.
Yeah. And then Cedric can't find a removal spell fast. This Ooze is just gonna bury him.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at lethal attack this turn. Ooze, of course, being a 7/7, Reaper being a 4/5. Quick math, that makes it 11. And if Uppal has a removal spell on top of his deck, that would be game over. Now, he doesn't know that.
But again, the evidence is starting to mount. You know, he didn't do anything last turn. He drew and cast a Pithing Needle, so that was likely his draw step last turn. The odds are very high that it's just a land in his hand.
Grey Merchant's on blocking duty. You got a Scry Trigger here from the Reaper. Uppal takes a look at that top card and going to analyze the board before deciding to keep it on top. The follow-up is Pulchronos. You call it monsters for a reason. There's 3 of them out there. I see Desecration Demon is a 7/7 right now, and if you're Uppal, I don't think you have to sacrifice the Desecration Demon.
I think you do because if he draws Grey Merchant, it's lethal.
So
he takes the hit.
he would go. So he can use Scavenging Ooze to go up to 12.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think that's the only reason. That's going to be it actually. So Justin Uppal is going to win this match over Cedric Simon, 2-1. Jund Monsters was on to 4-0, and unfortunately for Simon, moving in the mid to late game there, he just didn't draw.